Hey everybody, Coach Fahad here again, and I want to talk to you about core training, ab training. Okay, so this is a big one for most people. They love the idea of having shredded six-pack abs, flattening that stomach, and wanting to look better and feeling more confident on the beach and things like that. Okay, now first and foremost, let me get one thing clear. If you've got belly fat, okay, and you want to lose that belly fat, it's not about ab exercises. I know I get a lot of people saying, well, what ab exercise can I do to flatten my belly, right? The truth is, and I know you're going to hate me for saying this, your diet, okay, and the amount of calories you burn versus the amount of calories you consume, i.e. being in a calorie deficit, is going to govern the fact that you're losing belly fat, not how many crunches you can do, how many sit-ups you can do, or what the best ab exercise is, okay? That being said, ab exercises are really important. Just like any muscle group, you want to train them, okay? Now, let's just quickly talk about the core and then we'll talk about abs, okay? Now, when I say core and I say abs, I'm talking two slightly different things. So when we think about the core, we're thinking about this area as a whole, okay? So we've got a whole bunch of muscles that that contribute to what we call core, okay? So we've got the abs, the six-pack, or what you want to call it, is called your rectus abdominis, which runs from here down to here, okay? You've got your internal and external obliques, which are here on the side, okay? And deep inside, and this is the most important of the core muscles and the least one that most people work out, is what we call your transversus abdominis, okay? The TVA. The transversus abdominis, or the TVA, unlike most muscles which move a bone, so it performs a skeletal movement function, the transversus abdominis sort of girdles around the lower back of your lower part of your spine and creates stability in the lumbar spine. Really important when you're doing things like deadlifts or trying to like save your lower back when you're doing squats or any sort of like lifting exercises. Okay, so most people don't train that. Now you want to start training TVA, okay? But let's talk about the abs, the six-pack that everybody wants, okay? And I'm going to show you the right way and the wrong way of doing sit-ups. Now, let's think about, first of all, what is the six-pack, okay? So you've got this muscle that runs in the front of your body, on the anterior part of your body, called your rectus abdominis. It's not six packs or eight packs or whatever. It's one flat muscle, okay? The shape comes from connective tissue that kind of like gives it its shape, okay? So if you've got six or you've got eight, that's genetics, that's just how your connective tissue is made up. There's no sort of like one pack, two pack, three pack, four pack that you can work, okay? Saying that as well, there's no such thing as the upper abs and the lower abs, okay? You cannot work the abs in isolation. You can give potentially a little bit more stimulus to the lower portion than to upper, but you can't work them in isolation. All right, so let me talk to you about the wrong way of doing abs, okay? But before I show you the wrong way of doing abs, let me explain the main function of your rectus abdominis muscle. Other than protection, which is part of the core, it does something called spinal flexion. So if you think about your spine, which is sort of like a curve like that, I'm trying to think, so it's that way, right? So it's like that, okay? This is your lumbar and thoracic spine. There's your cervical spine. So the top part is called your cervical, the middle part is called your thoracic, and the lower part is called your lumbar. And right at the bottom, you've got another part as well. So basically, it flexes your spine. So it contributes to this movement here. So this movement here, that is your rectus abdominis doing the work. Okay? This movement here, okay, has more to do with your hip flexors, okay? So your hip flexors being your iliopsoas muscles, a little bit of your rectus abdominis does a bit of hip flexion, and your quads, your rectus femoris and your quad, okay? So when you're doing that motion, you're not just working your rectus abdominis, but you're working largely your hip flexor muscles, okay? We don't want to do too much of that. Most people's hip flexors are too tight anyway because they're sitting around all day, and they have something what we call anterior pelvic tilt, which has this sort of like back. And if you suffer from lower back, you might have anterior pelvic tilt. So let me show you the wrong way first of all. And now you know what the muscles do, you'll know why this is the wrong way. So this is what's very typical of a sit-up you see. Okay, so you have your hands behind your back, you come up all the way and come down, like this. Okay, now I can feel that in my abs, but it's not the most effective way to train your abs. Because remember, the motion is very minimal, okay? Second thing I wanted to point out is, you'll see a lot of people do a lot of reps on abs, okay? To try to go 100 sit-ups, 1,000 sit-ups, do it as fast as they can, as many as they can in a minute. That's counterproductive to building muscle. Just as it would be to a bicep or to a tricep or to your chest, it makes no sense. If you want to build that muscle, you want to do less reps and in a slow and steady pace. Now, one thing I've been told, I've heard, is you want to train your abs with as little weight, okay, and try to get them to be as tired as quickly as possible and train them as slowly as possible. So if you can do a crunch, which I'm going to show you in a minute, in the right way, nice and slowly, 8 to 10 reps before you get tired, that's more effective than doing 100 sit-ups the way I showed you as quickly as possible. Okay, now this is the right way to do a sit-up or a crunch. Now first of all, I'm going to put this under my lower back. Now you can use a towel or something firm but soft, okay? Well, firm but cushiony. Okay, don't want anything too soft. So something like a Bosu ball might work, but this is perfect, a rolled up yoga mat or a towel. You want to put that under your lower back. Why? Because now, when I go back, I can go arch slightly, so my abs are in a fully lengthened position. Okay? Now, I want my feet flat on the floor, knees bent, and what I want to think about is keeping my glutes tight, so I've got the stability in my lower back, abs tight, chin tucked in, and I want to think about bringing my sternum, which is this part of the chest where I'm touching here, into my belly button. Okay, so if I think about this line between the two fingers going as short as possible. That's all I want to do. I want to bring that line as close to that line as possible. So all I'm doing in this position, coming up, squeeze as hard as I can, bring those two fingers as close as possible, and slowly come back to that lengthened position, go all the way back, and bring up again. Keeping everything nice and tight. Glutes tight, abs tight. Going all the way back, in, and out. So again, here. Okay, so that is how to do a proper crunch. Now before we finish this video, I want to introduce you to a challenge that I want you guys to work on. So we're going to do a plank challenge. First of all, I'm going to show you how to do a plank. A plank is a really cool core exercise. It's an isolation exercise, which means you don't want to move around. You want to hold the contraction as long as you can. Okay, now the big mistake people make when they do a crunch is they either look up or they have their back arch. Now what you want to do is you want to have a neutral spine. What this means is your neck is in line with your back, so it's flat, okay, and your legs and your bum are down, so you make a straight line, okay? Not like this, and not like that, not like that. Okay, so here, arms are shoulder width apart, okay? You're going to hold this position, abs tight, for as long as you can. This is how you do a proper plank. Okay, and you're going to hold this position for as long as you can, and then your challenge is not against me, it's not against anyone else, it's against yourself. You will post your times, okay? You've got a week to post your best time. But I don't want you to compete with everyone else. I want you to then improve on your own time week by week. Okay? So that is how I want you to hold plank, and I want you to do the plank challenge. Okay? I'll see you in the next video. Stay safe. Have a good one.